baseball team really lived up to the volunteer name over the weekend, heading east to lend a hand.
Early voting has started across Tennessee. We sat down with some voters to hear what they think about the big November election.
Here at McGee-Tyson Airport, many fans have found their way to Knoxville despite a hurricane.
You may have gotten an alert yesterday. Well, police are still responding to a possible explosive device on Miners Avenue, prompting an evacuation. Thanks for joining us for Vol News. I'm Kylie Atchison.
And I'm Maddie Romack. We're following some breaking news for you today. Police were called yesterday to CMC Recycling on Western Ave when employees found a suspicious 5x5 box that was smoking. Just a few moments ago, KPD confirmed it to be full of dynamite. Out of an abundance of caution, Western Avenue between Texas and Massachusetts are still closed, and an evacuation request was put into place.
As you can see on this map, officials are asking anyone in a 3,000-foot perimeter to evacuate. The evacuation could be in place until tonight, and an emergency shelter has been set up at the Jacob Building for those in need. CAT and AMR are both helping with transportation. If you have any questions about this breaking news story, email us at tvcnews@utk.edu.
Not even 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene hit East Tennessee in North Carolina, Hurricane Milton made landfall this week.
Our Grayson Thatcher was at Tyson McGee to talk to travelers about how the weather affected their trip for the game tomorrow.
While several direct flights from Florida airports have been canceled, that hasn't stopped fans from finding their way to Knoxville. With the rivalry dating back to 1916, this will be the 55th game between the Vols and the Gators.
Big SEC rival game. Looking forward to it. Sets it up for the Alabama game next week.
Florida fans are making sure they can be there for the game.
It feels a little bit like homecoming, you know? It's always fun to see people who share.
While several direct flights from Florida airports have been canceled, that hasn't stopped fans from finding their way to Knoxville. With the rivalry dating back to 1916, this will be the 55th game between the Vols and the Gators.
Big SEC rival game. Looking forward to it. Sets it up for the Alabama game next week.
Florida fans are making sure they can be there for the game.
It feels a little bit like homecoming, you know? It's always fun to see people who share that kind of community outside of Florida.
This is the first matchup between the teams after both states have faced tragedy. Many in East Tennessee are cleaning up from Hurricane Helene, and now in Florida, many are seeing the damage after Hurricane Milton. Some homes destroyed and streets flooded.
I think it might have some extra importance because I think Florida needs a little bit of something to cheer for right now, so I think the game could be something that would really give them a rallying cry.
Some fans chose to come to Knoxville early. One man lives in the Tampa area and flew into town Monday night ahead of Milton.
Felt a lot better being here than riding out the storm, even though lots of people stayed. I just felt more comfortable getting out of the way.
But a hurricane won't stop the third Saturday in September.
I think it'll be a lot of Florida fans here,
cheering on their favorite teams.
I think anytime you can find a way to bring people together when you might otherwise be struggling is important.
In Knoxville, Grayson Thatcher, Vol News.
Efforts to help clean up after Hurricane Helene have been taking place across the country, from big celebrity donations like Dolly Parton to Arkansas fans banding together.
Right here in Knoxville, the IMES Nature Center stepped up. Our Clarissa De La Cruz brings us the inside benefit.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene leaving many communities in East Tennessee devastated, our very own IMES Nature Center decided to step up in a big way. They hosted a special benefit to help those affected by Helene, showing that even in difficult moments, we could still come together to help heal and rebuild. Coastal regions took the hardest hit, but even here in East Tennessee, we're feeling the storm's impact. Heavy rains from Helene's aftermath flooded homes, washed out roads, and left entire communities isolated, struggling to access basic necessities. In response to this, Beth Tompkins, comedian and event organizer, thought it'd be a great opportunity to use her and her fellow Knoxville friends' talents for a meaningful cause.
I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of pull together musicians, comedians, maybe a juggler, which is what we got tonight, and just see if we could kind of bring a little light to it and try to raise some money.
The fundraising efforts were proven successful with over $500 raised in a short amount of time. Every dollar made a difference. Sarah Brobst, Visitor Services Director at IAMS, discusses where exactly the funds are going to.
We've been raising funds online all week, and then all the gate fees and donations that get collected tonight are going to go to the East Tennessee Foundation. They have a neighbor-to-neighbor disaster relief fund, and it goes directly to those in need in East Tennessee.
Donations can still be made for those who missed the event but want to support the cause. To donate, visit easttennesseefoundation.org. This community-organized benefit is a great example of neighbors stepping up for one another even in difficult times. In Knoxville, Tennessee, Clarissa De La Cruz, Vol News.
Morgan Wallen's foundation teamed up with Second Harvest Food Bank to encourage his fans to donate food and water to their community. Alexi was there throughout the day.
The organization hosted a drive-through donation drop-off at Westtown Mall today from sunrise to sunset. Folks brought tons of food and bottled water for flood victims here in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. Morgan's mom told us about how badly Morgan wanted to help his community.
Morgan called me and he's like, "Mom, what can we do? We've got to do more." Our hearts were just broken to see the historic devastation that has taken place in East Tennessee.
Morgan himself even made an appearance this morning to volunteer and visit some fans along with Theo Vaughn. And the baseballs weren't only helping the Morgan Wallen Foundation, they also made a point to go into the impacted communities.
Take a look at this. The UT baseball team was out helping with cleanup in Greene County. We got these photos and videos from the UT baseball team after they were up in Greenville helping repair and clean homes destroyed by flooding. Your Vol football team takes on the Florida Gators tomorrow.
Weather anchor Ann Howard joins us with a look at what you can expect in Neyland.
Thanks, guys. Happy Friday, Vols. I'm your weather anchor Ann Howard, bringing you the game day forecast against the Florida Gators. This game day will not be as hot as previous home games. For those who are tailgating, it's looking at mid-60s to mid-70s with a slight wind breeze. Towards the beginning of the game, it is around mid-60s and high 50s towards the end with a strong breeze. Make sure to bring a light jacket to stay comfortable during the game. Good luck to the Vols and stay warm out there. Oh, we'll talk about Knoxville's weekend forecast later in the show. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ann. Football isn't the only way that the Vols are facing off against Florida.
During every presidential election, the University of Tennessee competes against the University of Florida to see who can have the most students registered. To vote this year, there is an additional bonus for signing up for election reminders. Vols Vote member Sophie Milan tells us how.
This year there's an additional bonus of signing up for election reminders, and you can do this through navigating through your Canvas module. You can also do it by visiting the Vols Vote website.
UT is currently behind Florida in the competition with 984 registered voters to Florida's 1,648. To join and help UT beat the Gators, visit volsvote.utk.edu. In less than a month, many will show up to the polls to make their vote for the 2024 presidential election. Our Kyla Berry speaks with two students that get to make their vote for the very first time.
Kyla, are the students excited to vote?
Maddie, yes. The two students I sat down with tell me they have done their research to make sure they're making the right choice on Tuesday, November 5th. And these first-time voters tell me it is one of the most important elections in American history.
Out there and make a difference, and if you want change in your country, it's necessary for you to vote.
The 2024 presidential election will bring in many new voters.
Since I haven't voted before, they have to see me in person the first time I vote.
Two of these voters are Layla Glover and Maddie Thomas. They'll be heading to Nashville and Philadelphia to cast their votes.
Go home to vote. I'm from Nashville, the Nashville area.
They know their one vote can determine their future as they near graduation.
I've been told by just like my parents and other people around me that are older that our generation is going to be the ones that are determining the next couple years.
For months, Glover and Thomas have done their research on both the Democratic and Republican Party.
By having basic knowledge of what's going on with the two candidates that are going now, and I've been watching the debates.
All aimed at making their voice heard.
Put my opinion where it mattered in that point in time.
For the first time by voting in the presidential election.
85.
In Knoxville, Kyla Berry, Vol News.
As the election day approaches, make sure you're prepared to cast your vote on November 5th by making a voting plan. You can find out where your polling location is by visiting vote.gov. Thanks, Kyla.
If you have any questions about voting for the upcoming election, email us at volnews@utk.edu, and we will ask the university political experts.
When choosing a college, money is often a key part of the decision. The University of Tennessee just made that a whole lot easier for students at 14 more high schools across the state.
Our Grayson Thatcher spoke to one student about what the opportunity means to them.
Kelsey Moore grew up watching the Volunteers with her dad.
And I just started watching UT with him, watching the basketball team, and then my senior year I was like, okay, I might want to experience this.
UT is now expanding that help to 14 more high schools in Tennessee, lifting the financial burden for many rural students.
I'm gonna have to do A, B, and C, everything under the sun just to cover tuition. But then when I seen that congratulations email, it was like set. It was like, okay, I'm going to UT.
It's called the Flagship Scholarship, and when combined with the Hope Scholarship, it covers tuition and mandatory fees.
We're eliminating one financial barrier for them. They're completing their degrees and they're heading back into their communities or other communities to impact state needs and nationally.
UT is now expanding that help to 14 more high schools in Tennessee, lifting that financial burden for many rural students. In East Tennessee, that list includes Bledsoe County, Cocke County, Cosby, Hancock County, Oneida, and Scott County high schools.
This access provides us an opportunity to go into those more rural, economically disadvantaged counties and serve a broader population.
There are currently 700 flagship scholarship students across Tennessee, including more.
I was just so excited because it was just like I've never, I guess, experienced anything like that. Like I just got my first big scholarship. I don't have to worry about tuition. I don't have to worry about A, B, and C because all other schools I had to worry about that. Like
graduates of these high schools will automatically get the scholarship after being admitted and enrolled at the university. Once
you have all that worry and all that doubt about how you're going to get through college, it doesn't really make your experience as memorable as you would want it to. But then like when you see that flagship email come through to you and it's just like you can just breathe.
In Knoxville, Grayson Thatcher, Vol News.
There are now 52 flagship high schools in the state of Tennessee.
I'm getting teary-eyed just even thinking that this is my last season.
When we get back after years of being on a court together, the Darby sisters prepare for the last year of playing side by side.
And we'll hear from your Vols basketball coach about how the team is looking ahead of the season.
If I could be you could be me. Just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll get you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again, then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
The University of Tennessee is on the rise, lighting the way in everything we do, from theater to supply chain management to advanced materials, creating leaders in the field, on the field, and in every field. The best way to rise is to lift others up and reach for the summit together. It takes each one of us giving our all. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back to Vol News. There are some lowlights in the world of sports today, but there are definitely still some highlights.
Riley joins us to break down everything in between. Riley.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to the Rocky Top Sports Report. I'm Riley Haltom, bringing you up to date on all things sports here on Rocky Top. Let's start with the surging Vol tennis squads. 4 Tennessee men's tennis representatives will be in action throughout the weekend at the ITA Ohio Valley Regional Championships. The competition started yesterday and will end on Monday the 14th. The Vols will be represented by Alan Jesudison, Alex Kotzen, Shinsuke Mitsui, and Alejandro Moreno. Jesudison and Moreno both enter into this competition undefeated. On Thursday morning, Shun Mitsui and Alan Jesudison secured their first victory over Butler in doubles 8-2. The Lady Vols tennis team is also on the road for the ITA Ohio Valley Regional Championships. Representing the Vols in this main draw is Catherine Alia, Layla Rizzo, and Vanessa Suarez and Elza Tomase. The Lady Vols season is right around the corner, and this is a new look for the historic program. New head coach Kim Caldwell is just the 4th head coach in program history and the first head coach that has not played for Pat Summitt since Summitt herself was the coach. This new look goes beyond the coaching staff though, as the projected starting lineup looks to be very different. A few of the staples of the Lady Vols lineup are in new places, as Tamari Key graduated and is now playing overseas. Rakia Jackson is a WNBA All-Rookie Team selection, and Caroline Striplin transferred to Indiana. The duo of returning veterans, Jules Spear and Sarah Puckett, are set to headline the Lady Vols lineup this year. Also returning are the Darby sisters, Tess and Edie. Our Alexi Cowan spoke with the sisters about their experience here on Rocky Top.
I'm getting teary-eyed just even thinking that this is my last season.
You might have heard the phrase, fight like sisters.
I've always been the book smart one. I think Tess can vouch for that one. She's always been the outgoing. She can talk to a brick wall.
But these two are sisters, fighting like sisters towards one goal, a national title.
The sky's the limit for us. We want to go all the way.
Tess and Edie Darby are the first set of sisters on the Lady Vol basketball team. Tess is a grad student entering her last year of eligibility, and Edie is a junior. Born in West Tennessee, about 6 hours from Knoxville, Lady Vol basketball has been a tradition from the start.
Coming home from church on a Sunday afternoon, it was like, who can get to the TV fast enough to turn on a Lady Vols basketball game?
This is a championship set of sisters. They know what it's like to win it all because they won their state championship in high school, but they're ready to do it again.
And I feel like we have worked our butts off this summer trying to prove that. We want to be the hardest working team on the country and the hardest playing team on the country.
But this is their last chance to do it together, as this will be Tessa's last year in a Lady Vol jersey.
I'm getting teary-eyed just even thinking that this is my last season. But just trying to enjoy, I mean, who thought I'd be in tears right here at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday morning? Start official practice today.
A special season, no matter the outcome, because they will be together, side by side.
Our favorite saying is iron sharpens iron, and I think that speaks volumes just for the both of us and just seeing where we are now.
In Knoxville, Alexi Cowan, Vol News.
While it's not quite college basketball season yet, there is still lots of basketball going on. VFL Dalton Knecht is finally making his professional debut with the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Summer League. Knecht produced the 5th best scoring average amongst all players at the Summer League. Knecht led the Lakers with 20 points against the Cavaliers, while no other Lakers scored even 14 that night. Turning it over to the current Tennessee roster, The Vols have landed a total of 4 four-star transfers for this upcoming season, including Chaz Lanier. Lanier averaged 19.7 points per game. Felix Okpara, transfer from Ohio State, averages 5.3 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks. Yesterday, head coach Rick Barnes gave us some insight on what the offseason looked like and gives us a preview on what to expect this season. With the Vols losing key players after last season, Barnes has brought in some new recruits. With transfers like Chaz Lanier and Felix Okpara, he looks to fit them into our offensive scheme.
You know, we got different ways we can play with different lineups, big, small, somewhere in between too, but still trying to figure out what is the best way to go for the most part, but just really waiting to get everybody on the court together at the same time.
Basketball season is just around the corner, with the Market Square Madness happening next Friday, with the first game happening on October 27th against Indiana in Food City Center. Tennessee football is coming off a loss to the Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville, 19-14. The loss takes the Vols to 4-1 on the season and 1-1 in SEC play. The Vols struggled to get anything going through the air, with Nico Iamaleava going 17 of 29 for 158 yards and no touchdowns. Tennessee's 2 touchdowns came with the best performer of the offense, running back Dylan Sampson. Sampson had 22 carries for 138 yards and the aforementioned 2 scores. The Vols are looking to bounce back as they start a 4-game home stretch, starting with a night game right here in Neyland against the Florida Gators. It'll be Checker Neyland, so make sure you check your section and wear the right color. For the 4th time this season alone, the Tennessee Lady Vols volleyball team earned a sweep on the road against an SEC opponent in Mississippi State. The Lady Vols came on top offensively, finishing 43 kills, 41 assists, and 8 aces, averaging 14.3 kills per set. 5 different Lady Vols posted at least 5 digs. Recently, the volleyball team broke a record you might not think about, an attendance record. With a new point system to get a ticket to big football games, our Karsten Hoagland spoke to head coach Eve Rackham-Watt about what the new eyes mean for your Lady Vols.
Lady Vol volleyball games are seeing a spike in fan attendance, most of them students.
We also just really enjoy supporting our Lady Vols.
Freshmen Elena Trokin and Allie Smith say they are coming to volleyball games to increase their chances of getting football tickets. It's part of UT's new student ticket system.
We really want to get into the Bama game. That's like top priority for us.
This year, volleyball achieved a record number of attendance from students and fans, hitting 6,193, the most fan attendance ever seen in program history.
Our bigger crowds keep getting bigger, and breaking the record this year for the first match of the year. It's just, again, it's the students, but it's also the community that's coming out.
Head volleyball coach Eve Rackham-Watt said not only are there more fans this season, but the atmosphere has changed.
What it does for our team, the momentum, the confidence, the excitement, the atmosphere that we get to have, and we continue to want this to be one of the hardest places to play for our opponent.
The student section at UT volleyball games is a lively group that brings a cheerful atmosphere to the game.
I still like the student section. I think everyone has good energy still.
Join in on the volleyball excitement at their next home match, and you might find yourself becoming a regular. At Food City Center for Vol News, I'm Karsten Hoagland.
The next home match for volleyball is on October 16th at Food City Center. Tip-off at 6:30 p.m. Fall ball is well underway for the Lady Vols softball team, and they are currently sitting at a record of 4-0. The 2-time defending SEC champions have already faced Georgia Tech, Lipscomb, Walter State, and Kentucky. The Lady Vols are stacked with returning players like SEC Pitcher of the Year Carlin Pickens. Not only are the returning players for Tennessee promising, but this year they landed 4 transfers. Tennessee defeated Kentucky this past Saturday 6-4 with a walk-off bomb by none other than McKenna Gibson. With the Lady Vols on a roll, they will next host Carson Newman this Friday with hopes to keep their undefeated record up. Let's see if the Vols can bounce back against Florida tomorrow. That's all I have for this edition of the Rocky Top Sports Report. Now, back to the desk for more news and events here in Knoxville.
Thanks, Riley. Let's show up in Checker Neyland this Saturday. Did Helene make a big impact on vendors in the Market Square Farmers Market? We have answers to that question coming up next.
It's finally spooky season, and you can get discounted tickets for some fall festivities.
You could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I'm an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
The University of Tennessee is on the rise, lighting the way in everything we do, from theater to supply chain management to advanced materials, creating leaders in the field, on the field, and in every field. The best way to rise is to lift others up and reach for the summit together. It takes each one of us giving our all. It takes a volunteer.
All right, hello again, Vols. Let's take a look at the weekend forecast for Knoxville. If you've been waiting for that crisp fall weather, it's on the way. We started this morning with chilly temperatures in the 50s, but we will warm up to the low 70s this afternoon. As we move into the evening, expect clear skies with temperatures dipping back to the 50s to the low 60s. Saturday's weather will feel much the same. We'll kick off with a patchy fog, which will give way to sunny skies in the morning. A stronger breeze will develop later in the day, followed by another clear and cool evening. Look for the highs in the mid-70s and low in the mid-50s by nightfall. On Sunday, we're in for a sunny start with highs reaching as low as the 80s. It will stay breezy throughout the day, and we might see slight showers in the evening as temperatures drop back into the mid-50s. That's a wrap for the weekend forecast. Stay cozy. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ann.
Recent data shows that the University of Tennessee is celebrating a successful year with record enrollment in student success. This achievement is largely due to its effective and supportive student programs, making it a leader in the nation. Our Madison Sims has more on the story.
Madison, what did you learn?
Yeah, Kylie, student success outcomes have been steadily improving over the past 5 years. When Chancellor Plowman joined the university in 2019, she made it a priority to enhance graduation rates by implementing the Division of Student Success.
On this campus has been the reason that we have been successful.
When Amber Williams arrived to Tennessee in 2020, she sat down with several hundred students to survey their needs. And it was through these conversations, she says, the university was able to set the path for success.
The more we talk with our students, the more we understand the challenges and the opportunities we have to make sure that they're having a good experience.
Williams says that this student feedback is what has allowed the university to retain 91.9% of first-year students and a total enrollment increase of 6.7%.
It is our job not just to recruit freshmen to the university, but to recruit graduates of the university.
And through the efforts of the Division of Student Success, Tennessee saw their 4th consecutive year of graduating students, with a new rate of 74% of students graduating in 6 years and 62% in 4 years.
We want our students to graduate with confidence. And to do that means that we need to walk through that process with them. And so that's the next step for us.
The university is launching the Vol Edge program in January of 2025. The program is centered in preparing students for the workforce and life beyond the classroom. In Knoxville, Madison Sims, Vol News.
Williams also shared that in the spring of 2025, the university will begin breaking ground on a new Student Success Center. This new center will include the academic coaching resources, the Vol Study Center, and a host of professional and academic supports.
Wow, it sounds like the university just keeps growing every year. And now with the center, students can get their resources all in one place. It's October, that means we're officially in the spooky season.
Maple Lane Farm is hosting their Haunted Corn Maze again this year on various dates in October, starting on the 18th. You can find out specific dates and get discounted tickets if you're a student through the Vol Connect app, though you will have to pick up your actual ticket at the Student Union box office.
The Market Square Farmers Market is a common sight on Saturdays and Wednesdays downtown. With Helene's devastation to much of East Tennessee, many people are wanting to know more about just who was affected.
Our Alexis Brunson investigated just what effect all of that rain had on the farmers market vendors.
With the sun shining, a stark contrast to the previous weeks, the Market Square Farmers Market is still in full swing and being enjoyed by many Knoxville residents like Madison Morgan.
It's amazing. There's so many local businesses and farms that I had no idea even existed until I started coming to the farmers market.
For many residents, the market is a staple in their routine.
And so I come every single week and do my little steps and get the bucks.
Though, it came into question a little bit when Hurricane Helene hit due to all the rain and flooding.
We did have markets canceled, but because they were getting more rain than what we were in our area.
However, many vendors at this market, like Mark Brown, owner and operator of Spring Oak Farm, say that the rain actually helped them.
Because we were in dire need of water. We were having to irrigate.
And set them up for success for at least a couple of weeks.
It actually brought the water table in the ground back up as well. So we're probably good now. We could go 2 weeks easy with no rain.
And while Helene is still fresh in many minds,
and I pray for a lot of the people that are east of here because they've been devastated. Lots of them lost their lives.
The vendors of this market express a lot of gratitude. In Knoxville, Alexis Brunson, Vol News.
We are still following breaking news for you. Police are still responding to a suspicious box on Miners Avenue, prompting an evacuation.
Police were called to CMC Recycling after a suspicious box was smoking just a few moments ago. KPD confirmed it to be full of dynamite. Out of an abundance of caution, Western Avenue between Texas and Massachusetts are still closed, and an evacuation request was put into place.
If you're in the area that you can see on the screen, KPD is still asking you to evacuate. CAT and AMR are assisting in evacuations, and there is a shelter set up in the Jacob building for anyone in need.
This is breaking news that we are still following for you. You can keep up to date on our Instagram at Vol News TVC. But that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maddie Romack.
And I'm Kylie Atchison. Have a great weekend and go Vols!